Dear all, welcome to Delivery Design. Thank you so much for being here. And our today's webinar topic is Behind the Magic, Navigating Animation Industry with Tips from Disney Designer. And our guest is Nancy Louis. Nancy basically is from ACCD. She has studied in Art Center College for Design, Pasadena, California. She's in USA currently, and she have worked with various companies. And thank you so much, Nancy, for being here, and you can start with the introduction.
Hi, thank you for inviting me for
You're
this
welcome.
course. So,
Is it
this is,
possible to turn on your camera?
oh, yeah, sure. Let me, Hi, this is Nancy. I was graduate from Art Center 4 years ago, and since then I've been teaching concept art for almost like 3 years from now. So after I graduate, I went to Warner Brothers for lighting concept artist. And then later on, I hop onto Walt Disney and onto one of their future animation films. One is called In Candle, and another one is called Stranger World. I don't know if anyone have heard of it. And later on, I took an offer from Buck, and I've been working from Buck for around like 1 year and a half. And right now, I'm currently doing like freelance work for one of the art director from DreamWorks on his own films, which is still like under DNA.
Okay.
And yeah, so for this course, I'm gonna be teaching character design in animation style. So it's not like in like Japanese anime or like a gaming style. Is more towards like a Disney styles. Yeah.
Great to hear about the work you are currently doing and you have done in the past time. Can
Um.
you
um
give some? Am I audible to you?
mhm.
Yeah. So can you explain your journey in college or in design university, how you have studied and what are the main courses you have studied, which were interesting courses, so our audience can have idea about the animation design education. So we can start with that thing.
Yeah, sure. I think in terms of studying like animation, oops. I feel like most of the classes are more like self-taught. So even like I went to like art center, I still like need to take some like courses like outside of college because like the classes in college are limited, which you might not have chance to get into, or you have to take some like any like a required course before you apply for the class, which is gonna be like delay your process to dip into the animation like industry. So like for example, like maybe you will only have like character club design classes like after your fifth term, which is nearly you're gonna be graduating like a year or
Absolutely.
yeah. So like even when I was in college, most of my friends or most of our center students, they are still taking like classes outside of college. And even right now, I'm working, so most of my colleagues are also taking classes right now. So it's not
Wow.
like yeah, so it's not yeah, so it's not like after you get into the college,
Hmm.
all you have to do is like take classes for college. It's totally different because animation there's a lot of things that you need to learn like in our center we don't have like required classes for like 3D modeling. So there's this course that you might have to like taught yourself um or take classes outside. Yeah, so that's a thing about like get into like animation design.
Right. So, like those if you have got into ACCD or some of the topmost college, but still you have to join some another classes to get into some big industry companies or to improve your work. That is the thing, right?
Yeah,
And
so because basically in college classes we what we do is basically like the professor will assign us a project to do and later they just gonna like critique our work, but basically they are not gonna like teach you like how to like really design because it's gonna be a big classes. Like everyone is totally different level. Like maybe someone are already like know how to design like character or like props or environment, but some of the students might still be like beginning level. So it's kind of like hard to catch on for everyone's progress for professors. So the most the professor will do is just critique your work, so give you feedback on your work, and pretty much that's it.
right. So it's totally the how student is performing and how well he is or she is doing. And on the basis of that, at the end, the professor will give the feedback and reviews the work and how to go ahead. That is the further direction, right? Absolutely
Yeah,
getting the point. Now,
yeah.
what was the duration of the courses, or let's say it might be of 3 year, 4 years. So how is the education at ACCD?
uh the tuition fee is pretty expensive.
No, no, fees.
I
Not I'm not asking about this. I'm asking about the duration. Like it is a 3 years course, or it is a 5 years course, or 4 year course,
oh, it's a 4 year.
right? So after doing the 4 years graduation course, have you thought about post graduation degree or masters in the field?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So after 4 years courses you're gonna like starting like finding jobs because there's no like graduate or master for concept artists. So it's gonna dip right in industry after graduation.
Okay. And what about the companies? Like, do the companies came to ACCD for hiring the students in the last sem or somewhere in between the your education?
I'm sorry, there's kind of like noise.
अभी क्या है तो ये सब बनाने के बाद इसमें बाहर
Okay,
नहीं
so
आए थे क्या
yeah, so there were some noise.
Yeah.
Audio. Yeah, I'm repeating the question.
Mm-hmm.
The question
I'm
is
sorry.
like, yeah, during your graduation or during your last sem, have you got the company placement offer, or does company came at Art Center College to select students for job or internship? Like, is there any sort of facility over there?
Yeah, sure. I think for most of college still have something like industry night. That's what our center called. So like a day before graduation, so we're gonna prepare for the graduation wall like one day before. So so in this way like recruiters or companies can like come to see like the work what we're doing for like this 4 years. So if they're interested, they're gonna like give you some like name card or they're gonna have your name card and then maybe later they're gonna contact you in the future if there's any like position opening. Because the tricky thing is, I think most of students might not know is that uh animation jobs is not like other jobs that they will have always have like openings. So it's gonna be based on the company because for most of the projects, for like for example for the animation films, so they for at first they're gonna pitch, they can have to pitch to the director and later on they have to wait for the green light of the films. So after they have the green light, they can start hiring people for this project. And before green light, there's gonna be only like 1 or 2 concept artists will be working on this project. So even you received like an email or invitation from recruiters, it's not like a guarantee of you are getting this job or not. It's just gonna be a like a Zoom meeting, like to share your experience or what field are you focused on, and they're gonna be like having you on their database, and in the future if there's any like openings or if they're gonna hire any like new artists, they will have to like reach out to you. So in this case, like so you have to be prepared like all the time. So it's also one of the reasons why most of my friends and my colleagues are taking classes, because they want to like keep growing up. So in just in case if there's any like opening up, they can like directly apply for it.
Detail. So
Yeah.
still, if you are learning or a studying student is learning at the topmost college or university, they have to work very hard with all the skill sets, and then they have to have the approach with all the company directors, and they will get into the industry for the work. Okay. Now
Mhm.
we can talk about little bit your work. You can share the screen and you can let us know how the procedure happens, and we can what student can start with initially, which sort of work they can go ahead and like you can just let us know the some sort of like procedure in animation design.
Oh, okay, sure. I'm gonna share my screen here. Okay. Is everyone can see it?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. So that's my personal website for my work. So those most of projects are done in college, and this one is done like most recently project I was working on. So you can tell like for the whole project, character design is just like a part of it. So you will have like character design lineup, and you will have like the prop design, and like the graphic design for like any like posters or signage. And this one is is called keyframe. So basically it's combine like your character design, prop design, and graphic design together into one piece to create a actual film vibe for your project. So you can see, I'm gonna show you like really quick.
Amazing. Nice.
Yes, so that's my first project, and that's my second. And all you can tell is like my style is like changing like through those 3 projects. So they're not stay the same like in terms of like character styles or the like the rendering techniques I'm using. So it's all different. So it's gonna like so character design just not about like you design a character and you have the shapes and you have the like how the appearances. It's most about like how it's gonna telling the story to the audiences. It's gonna be like even the style is gonna be like related to like your story. It's gonna be like when like audience see your style, they're gonna know, oh, the story seems like interesting, or it's gonna be a very like realistic story, or it's just gonna be like a very like so for example for this one, I made the character like as like kind of like has a like the pottery texture. So when audiences sees it, it's gonna be like oh, it's gonna be something, some animation about like history or Asian things.
Absolutely. So all the character styling, color,
Yeah,
then their clothing style, everything matters, and every designer have their own style of work. So
yeah.
this kind of work, and recently the work you are currently doing with the DreamWorks you have mentioned initially. So
Uh,
do you
yeah,
have that
actually,
work uploaded here, or can you give some glimpse of it? Like,
uh, well, some more work are still under DNA, and yeah, and most of my work from Disney are like on their copyright. So, they're a little. I can share a little bit like process of what I'm doing and how I'm gonna do it. Is like so unlike my personal project, so like in films, so they will already have their own styles. And most of the animation film styles is gonna be either 3D or 2Ds. So from the very beginning, so my our films is gonna they are trying to do like some like watercolor textures in character design. So, but unfortunately, we don't have like the budget for the so for making the watercolor texturing in 3D. So, in the end of it, we change it back to like a very like ordinary like 3D styles like
yeah,
Pixar animation, that kind of thing. So so that's one thing. So from beginning we'll have like character designer to sketch out the character design. Basically, it's gonna just basically be like line art. So
mhm,
after that, they're gonna add like color palette to the characters. And the thing about like because you can see like most of my characters are lighting up.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
well, that's one thing. So like because the character design, every character is from the same world. So the art director wants to see like character line up as like they can see like the like for example like the size differences, the shape difference.
Proportions. Yeah,
Yes, and even the color palettes, they have to match with each other, for example. So those two are like a group, you can tell like as a group. So
uh,
they have to have like very like similar color palette, or like they have to have some like a shape language that match with each other. But most importantly is like you cannot have the same shape language in like two characters, between two characters, so characters can look exactly the same. So that's one thing like different from, I think that's most of like the biggest thing, like biggest like differences from like Japanese anime, because Japanese anime like the appearance will like look basically the same. The face is gonna be the same, and it's just gonna be the hairstyle, or
yeah,
it's gonna be some
exactly.
differences. And yeah, and that's one thing why most of the like college like dislike like Japanese anime style, because they think Japanese style doesn't have that much thinking in terms of designing, because you're just gonna change the hairstyle on custom. I think that's like another thing about like character design. But in animation, so we require like each character has to look different.
Absolutely. So like
Yeah,
the
and
Japanese or the worldwide country-wise, we can say they every country having their own style to represent the animation, right?
yeah, yeah, and the interesting about like animation is like most of people think, oh, animation is a character is hard to design, but the funniest thing is uh it's hard to design like if you want to do a really good project. But if you're just beginner, you just like start doing like character design, animation style is actually a kind of a good start. It's kind of like a good thing to start because it's gonna be easier to start because like you can see like from like gaming character design or anime character design, they all require like a well knowledge about like anatomy. And since anatomy is kind of like hard thing to learn and you have to like takes time, maybe like a year, or if you are really good learner, that you're really like smart, maybe like a half year, but it's gonna take time. But in animation, it's give you a freedom to do the anatomy. Like you can see, like most of the anatomy can be simplified, and you don't have to show all the muscles, and even the ratios are off because for the shape language.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you want to like try character design, maybe animation is a good start. It's gonna give you like more confidence and more fun to
Absolutely.
do. Actually, yeah. And
Oh,
yeah, and after we finish like basically character designing, we have to like choose the style for the characters because we need to like start rendering. So so for example, this project, so you can see in this part, there are just like a bunch of
characters.
sketches.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not like perfectly rendering, but in this one, I just started rendering and choosing styles. So that's the next stage of the character design. You have to choose your style, like what's gonna be the texture on the hairs, or what's gonna be like material for the cloth. Because uh, if anyone like enjoying to see watching like animation films, you can see like they are not just like a realistic texture on the clothes. Like some of the animation films will have some like paper texture for the clothing, or even the hair is gonna not be like real human hair. It's not. It's either gonna be like some plastic or some like fur,
Mm.
but it's not just gonna be like very simple and to do because it's you have to like choose the right style and right texture for your films in purpose of like storytelling wise and what's your films want to send the message to audiences. So it's quite a thinker.
Right.
Yeah.
So once the character has built, once the colors, then style, then texture has done, it goes further for the animator actual who is going to work upon 3D model or some sort of things, right? Is that so?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we are talking about the team, how many usually team members are there? Let's suppose you have worked with DreamWorks, you're currently working with DreamWorks, previously you have worked with Disney and Webner Bros, right? So
Yeah.
if you are comparing the sort of the companies and the
Mhm.
project, like how many members of team is there who used to work on the such projects?
How many
The,
things?
how many designers work for the
uh
project?
Designers. I think for character designer is gonna be like 2 to 3, and me and another artist will also doing like rendering work because not every like artist knows how to render. That's a funny thing. Yeah, some of artists knows how to design, but they are not very good at like, rendering things. And before we get into like a 3D modeling stage, we actually need to, for example, if we're doing like 3D realistic animation style, so we have to like to paint our character exactly looks like they're in the film, like super realistic. Like we have to per painting rendering the furs, the clothing textures, just like in 3D style.
Right.
So yeah, so we're not just about like designing, it's also you need to learn how to like rendering.
Absolutely. So on screen, I am seeing some sort of small like thumbnails. If you scroll down below, is that story or can you give some idea about the work below which you have done?
I'm
Just little
sorry,
scroll. So can you please scroll down below on the screen?
include them on the screen.
Scroll down. Yeah, same page.
Zoom down.
No,
Oh,
yeah, this small thumbnail. Yeah. So can you give some idea about this work?
yeah. So this one, this part is called the color scripts. It's basically like from the color, like you can see like
Different
color.
kind of colors, right?
Yeah, from the beginning of the movie towards the end. So it's gonna tell the like because in every movie it's not, you cannot just like throw the color everywhere. So you have to have certain like so from, for example, for this one, so the beginning the color is very like warm and but desaturated, and after in the middle it's gonna turn to like very cold color, and it's gonna be like very dramatic, and towards the end it's gonna go back to the warm color, so it's gonna have kind of like the color
Change,
stages.
right? Amazing.
Yes, yeah, so and so this one is like for the color script I can like choose one of the parts that I want to do and make into the keyframe. So keyframe in most of movies just gonna be like very important frames that you definitely will show in the film, because like for example in the film they're gonna be like have like maybe like 100 frames, but in the final film there might only have like 18 or 70 of them. So the keyframe is the frame that you will have to show in the film. So it's very important to like, one thing is to have the style of the movie, show the audiences and the style of the movie and the vibe, the atmosphere of the movie.
Amazing.
Yeah, so those these are also like keyframes. So keyframe is not just like about like a pretty paintings. It also requires some of the like storytelling. Like for example, in this one, what do you want to like show? So like I have, for example, I have the like the background painting on the back to show to reflect to the end of the film.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like if we are talking about the time, how much time it take to draw or to create such kind of design?
For the character design, after I think maybe for the first stage where you have your like a solid character design, it might take maybe like 3 months or longer, even longer, because they will have like some like feedback, and you will like change character, like maybe from beginning it's gonna be look like that, and from end it's gonna be look totally different. So it's gonna take very long time to have the character design. But after you have the solid character design for the next stage, for the rendering part, I think most of the character will only like take most 1 week to render, and some of, if the deadline is in rush, maybe like 3 or 2 days to finish rendering a character.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, yes, Samco has mentioned the comment in section box. The work is amazing. I guess he's written.
um,
Simultaneously,
Mm-hmm.
audience are there. Guys, if you're having any question regarding the animation, how the DreamWorks work, then the Disney and other things, if you're having any question about Art Center College for Design, you can put your message in the message box, or you can turn on your mic and you can ask the question to Nancy, right? So
Okay. Let
anyone
me.
having any question?
Hi, Vardhan.
Hi Shisham,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good, Vardhan. Hi, Nancy.
Hi. Hi.
Thank you for sharing your experience with us. It's kind of great to see your work. So I have a doubt. So first of all, I'm Sashank. So I'm a
Mm-hmm.
transportation designer.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
I, I recently got graduated from my master's in transportation design.
Mm-hmm.
So I see your work very interesting, and I have a doubt regarding like how kind of how do you start your work when designing a character? What kind of how do you get your briefs from your company, or else what kind of thinking process you will go through when starting a character? Because
Uh. Mhm.
I find Japanese culture, or else the influence of Japanese culture in character design more. So I would love to know your process. How do you start while designing things?
Yeah. Sure. So before designing your characters, you have to know what kind of story you're gonna be telling. And after that, you have to think about, oh, if in this case, for example, if for example, let me scroll down. For example, in this project, I wanted to do like some like kind of like Hong Kong, like China, like vibe, because the story is about like very like society problem. So I want to have kind of like interesting character design to make the audience wants to watch the film, but also I want to have kind of like a very like dark and like a very like unique style to like tell the society problems because in this case before I start to designing the characters, first of all you have to know like what the style of the film and what the story is going to be telling. So in terms of because you might want to like search up for your style for your character design before you start it. um so first is have the style, and the second is know what your character will be, the like in terms of like personalities and their backstories, because you don't want to show audience a very like simple character with just maybe a smile or like anything like that. So you want to show the audiences uh the character that when you see it you will know like there's some like backstory behind him, like for example the pig one, I want to make her like a household. So I have like I took like some reference from a very like famous Chinese movie. So it's called Hong Kong. I think it's Kung Fu. Yes, called Kung Fu. So I kind of like have like look search for some like references in their movies
Is that
and
Kung Fu Asal?
from
You're saying
yeah
Kung Fu
Kung Fu.
Asal?
Yes. So so there's a very like a famous like character in
Yeah.
this film, looks kind of similar to this pig. So you
Okay.
can have some like yeah, so you can have some like reference from other like famous films because you don't want to have like the audiences see your character and have no idea what the character is. So you have want to give some like clue to audiences to like oh I want to that the audiences know that she's a landlord, so I will have some like very like typical like landlord like designing for her. And
Right.
also I think one of the most important things for the character design is you have to like have a tons of references before you start designing, because if you don't have enough like references, or you don't look out for references at all, basically you're just gonna be design a character in your comfort zone. So it's just gonna be like all the same character all the time. So you get to like search up for the environment, what's kind of environment the character is gonna be, or what the time period, because different time period will have like different types of costume, and also like their jobs, what their jobs is. If the character is a student, are they gonna have like school uniform, or it's gonna be like a hoodie, a casual wear, or if the character is like is adult, what the job he's doing is gonna be like a boring job or a fun job. So you need to have all the background story written down for your character. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a very boring character to design, or you will have like no clue. Oh, what is gonna be the costume for the character, or oh, what hairstyle I want to do for the character is gonna be like no clue at all. So before you start designing, you have to like know everything about your character, like because you're creating a character, not just like drawing that out.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, any other question, Prashant?
Yeah, just one last one. I won't take much time. And my second question was it. This might be a very common question for you. So when you
Mhm.
spoke about selecting a style when you design a product or a character, like how
Mhm.
do you find your own style? Or else, I really like your way of renderings. So how did you end up doing this particular style? Or else, how do you know which is my style? Because I am in a situation where I'm still finding my own way of
Uh,
styling things. So, yeah,
okay.
can you help me
So
out in getting that done?
yeah, sure. So first of all, if you are still like wondering what style are you gonna do, first you can like look up some like other animation films to see if there's like any like style you like, or you think is gonna fit your story. You can like put them on the side as the references, and later on you can there's another thing I like to do is like I'm gonna like search up some like books for the environment or so, because there's some like because I don't want to have always have my character as a real like a realistic style. So I want to have some like other textures as my style. For example, you can even have the plastic or like tree leaves for your character hairs, and that's a thing. So you don't need to restrict yourself in just like, oh, I will have like a human fur, human hair, or animal fur for the character, or oh, I need to do like 3D realistic style, or just gonna do like 2D style with just flat colors. So you can also like have some sort of textures into your style. You can like search up on the brushes to see if there is any like texture brushes you want to add into your like shadow for your shadow texture. So for this one, I'm use a lot like brush textures for my like rendering. So for the fur, I just use like simple lines. Yes, and another thing is you have to have some of the contrast for your style. Like you cannot just like throw out like very like fancy like rendering onto very everywhere. So you need to have some like sort of like complex on one side and simple on the other side. So for this, for example, for this style, I use like very complex, like shallow textures. But on the on the lighting side, on the like fur side, I just use like very like flat color and simple lines to have the shapes defined. So if you want to like have this, you want to like decide what's your style, it's gonna be one is like look up for like already like famous animation film, and second is maybe look for some like references in terms of like environment and the time period of your
Yeah.
story. Yeah,
Thank you, Nancy. Got it.
yeah, no problem.
So Nancy, which software you use mostly?
I'm sorry.
Which softwares you use mostly?
What brush?
Softwares. Which softwares you use to design?
Which software?
Yeah, softwares.
Uh,
Photoshop.
I use like Photoshop for most of my project, but right now I'm also like using Procreate, but it will have some like for example, so those characters are all done in like Procreate because you will have some like the watercolor textures, which I really like.
Right. Amazing. And what about some 3D work?
Oh, 3D work. So that's not like required for character design. I only have like some like 3D work that used in Maya for
Mhm.
the but in character design, 3D is not a very like required technique because if you want to do like a 3D model for environment, that's not gonna be hard. But if you want to do a character design or you want to do a character modeling, it's gonna be super hard. So it's gonna be not gonna be your job to do it. So it's gonna have the 3D artist on the side to do the 3D modeling.
Absolutely. Amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, great. I guess we can start with the next presentation. So like if anyone want to learn this thing, so what we have planned, so we can go ahead with this. Any before that, any guys having any other question, any query? Okay. So yeah, you can stop sharing. I'm sharing the screen. Is it visible?
Yeah.
So right now, guys, as we have seen how the tough it is to get into the work after having the graduation degree is one of the famous college. You still require to learn the things, right? And there are very less colleges and less universities, we can say, and again the saturated jobs are there. In that case, what we have done is like we have planned the course for the guys who are interested into study. So these courses are there, and there are various courses which run by Miglio Design, and more than 100 of students are into industry and getting into the colleges and doing the internship, right? So this is the course by the Nancy Louis, which is starting from 2nd of November 2024, means in the next month after something like 15 days almost, right? 12 days, right? Almost 1 days. And why this course? So there are various reasons we have planned, like it would be certified, it would be the recorded session, it would be live classes, and you can develop a good portfolio and learn the skills Nancy, who have worked with the DreamWorks, then Disney, and then Webinar Bros, right? And the name is character design. So there are two courses. First is introduction to character design, which is of 1 month. Okay, you can see the details over here. Nancy, can you give some quickly idea about the this thing, or guys, you can read it out. Nancy, would
Yeah,
you like to?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So the basically So for the first part of the character design is learning like basic design elements of the character design. So it's gonna be for like beginners or who just step into like animation character design world. So I'm gonna be like doing for first week. I'm gonna doing like introduction of what's the animation's character design would be like and what's the process. And after that, I'm gonna do like a warm up exercise of line circles, because that's kind of like very important to do. Like most of my past students are super struggled with their character design, and the main thing about it is they don't really know how to do like the line work, because if you have like very crunchy like line art, it's gonna the you even your character design is good, but the audience couldn't tell because the line is pretty like off. So we have to do some like I think we're gonna do like the warm up exercise for every week, because it's super important. And later on, we're gonna start into like very fundamental basic anatomy. So I said like character design, animation character design doesn't require super very good like anatomy knowledge from beginning. So in this case, we will only to teach students the very like fundamental, like most important anatomy analogies in terms of what's you're gonna need for your character design. So for the week 2, I'm gonna be like teach how your anatomy can be simplified in animation character style. Because you can tell like most of the style you can like simplify, like you can simplify your arms into just like one tubes, and for the torsos you can also just simplify as a round circle, so you doesn't have to be very like specific anatomy. It just can be like very simple and simplified. So also in week 2, I will be teaching like a basic shape language in character design. Like for the right one on the top, you can see like it's two character design from just one reference photos, but they're all look very different. So that's because they're using like very like different shape languages or and also different style. So for week 2, we will start using like a references photo to design a new character based on the reference photo, like the right images. And for the week 3, I will be start teaching like how to use shape language to define your character. So you're gonna right now. So for week 2, you will just know how to use what the basic shape language will be and where how are we gonna like use them. And in week 3, you're gonna use them into your character design. And also we're gonna start teaching like design silhouettes with your shape language. So for the character silhouettes, it's just gonna be like a simple, very simple, like white and black design. So it's not gonna be anything in colors from that stage. So, and week 4, I'm gonna teach you how to design your character poses, because each different character have different like personalities. So we need to have design different poses to show what their personality will be. And also I'm gonna teach how to like add rhythm to your character design, which will make your character design look more like unique and more like solid. And so for this first month, it's just gonna be like very basic design elements, and maybe you would just know like very basic information about like character design, and you will know like very basic process of the starting design your characters. So it's just gonna be 1 month. Like most feel like experiments of like start knowing like character design.
Right. Yeah. So this is the course, first course by the Nancy, and there is another one which is
Yeah.
called as here it should be advanced mistake and correction. Yeah, so it's an advanced course and which is of 2 months. And the mentioned things are like you are going to learn in 1 month, and simultaneously there would be yeah,
Yeah. So after the first part of oops.
yeah, no,
Yeah, so after learning the first part of like very basically design elements of character design, we will start doing like a real project. Like you can like students can choose a short story, and they can design 1 to 3 characters based on the story and in your like animation style. So for the first month, you will just have your character design ready, so it's just like what I said, like the character design process. So first of all, you need to have your character design ready for the rendering stage. So that's what we're gonna do for the first month. We're gonna like teach you how to like for the for example for the first week the workflow to create a solid character, including like have you like how to choose your story because it's also a tricky one, and also like how to find the references, and how to like design your style, and how to write down so in order to like creating a solid character, what's the background story you will need for your character. So like are you gonna need to write down his jobs, or his like his like childhood like memories, that kind of things. So and for the week 2 we will start finding like references for your characters and to start to design the silhouettes. So in week 3, we're starting to do like designing the character head. So we'll do like 1 day of the head study for the character. And on Sunday, we will start doing like defining your character with your shape language, which is going to be like all the line work and with simplified shapes. So for the week 4, we will have to like designing the costume for the character. So I will be teaching like what's the like custom study for the character design, and I will teaching like the like how to draw like some like clothing folds. And also I will teaching like important elements of designing costume for character, like what do you need on your costume to show your character personality, or the the character's background story. So you will also need storytelling in your costume and also your hairstyle.
right, right,
And that's the next month. So we'll be starting to rendering the character. So we will have finding the the right style for the characters, and also we need to design the character with logic, and that's kind of important. I feel like most of students are just doing like characters that they think is interesting, but if you want to create your characters, you have to by the audience's trust your character is a feel like they're living, not just like a character from a film, because you want to feel that the audience feel appealing to your characters. So you have to design your character with logic. Like for example, like college students wouldn't have some like very mature or like a very like old-fashioned hairstyle when they want to go to school. So you have to like design your character with solid like evidence, I would say. Like if you want to like design this character, you want to make the audiences trust them, they are what they are. If you want to design a college students, you need to make your audience think they are college students. You cannot like confuse your audiences, or are they college students, or they are start working kind of things. So and also in week 6 I will be like starting to do like color theory for the character design. We will starting to have the color palette for our characters, and we will start choosing the style for the characters. And in week 7 we will be doing like character rendering. So and also the lighting concept for the character design, because if you want to do like a very 3D realistic style for characters, you need to know how to do your lighting. So in the week 8 we will have the final presentations, and we will have the character ready to critique, and everyone will get like feedback to each other's work.
So this is the explanation by Nancy about the course, and this is the duration and the fees for these two courses. The first duration is of 1 month, where you are going to learn the introduction to character design for 10 USD, and second is the 2 month course, which is 655 USD. And guys, if you want to join this course, simply you have to go to mignoredesign.com. You have to register yourself, and there would be the 10, you can say, seats. Okay, I can show you the website. Here it is. Is it visible? Yeah. So just type www.mignoredesign.com. You will be on the page, and there are various courses, and you can see these are the two courses: Introduction to Character Design and Advanced Character Design by Nancy. Simply you have to join over here. Okay. Simultaneously, if you're having any other query, you can get back to us. You can be in touch with us. And this video or this today's webinar will be available on the YouTube. So you can watch it, you can share it. And thank you so much for joining. Is there any question, you can let us know right now. I guess there would not be question, but there are a lot of guys I have received the text. They might haven't able to join currently on the platform. No issue. We'll get back to things. And yeah, so thank you so much, Nancy, for being here. You are giving your time. It was really amazing sharing your experience from the college, from the university, then with respect to various companies and how you have built up your characters and currently working. So hopefully that everyone who have watched and who is going to watch, they will learn the things and apply it over there in the work. And looking forward to you guys to joining this class or the course from the 2nd of November. Till the time, thank you so much. Have a great day ahead. Yeah. See you guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.